He's a remarkable boxer. He shows great talent, great speed, and it's going to be very difficult to beat him out there.
Yeah, it's probably going to be, you know, until he develops the marketing power like De La Hoya has had, where it's, all right, I got to fight him for all that money whether I have a chance to win or not. Is Larry Merchant ready with the loser Zab Judah? Yes, he is, I'm told. Let's go back into the ring.
Thank you, Jim. Zab, give us your assessment of what went on in there tonight. You had the advantage after a few rounds, feel-out type of rounds, and then he seemed to dominate you once you got into the middle rounds.
Well, I mean, I'll take no credit. I mean, I make no excuses. First of all, I want to give it. I want to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for blessing me with the opportunity of being safe and coming out of this fight with. Second of all, Mayweather's a good fighter. He's quick. He got good hands, and you know, I make no excuses. He's a better guy tonight.
Your father was urging you to throw more punches throughout the fight.
Yeah.
Was he just too quick with his counter punches for you to let go?
No, I don't think that. I think that he was a very great defensive fighter. I think that, you know, for the defense, he kept a great tight defense, and that was good.
All right, tell us what happened when you hit him below the belt. I don't know if we have any footage here, but you describe what happened at that point.
Well, Larry, I'm not a dirty fighter, you know what I'm saying? I don't have to use dirty tactics to go in there and prove my thing, you know. I was aiming for the body, you know. It maybe was a little low, and that's why I came out with another shot, because I didn't feel that I did it on purpose. And when I did that, Roger jumped in, and the trainer took a swing at me. So I mean, you know, I'm a fighter. You know, I'm in the world trying to fight. My only reaction is to go ahead and go. Then he was choking me in the corner. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the security had my arms, and he was choking me. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I make no excuses. You know, May was a great fighter. Hope that down the line we could do it again, and that's it.
Do you feel that this fight, taking Mayweather the distance, redeemed the last fight and some of the other fights you've had in which you haven't been your best?
Well, I think so. I mean, you know, everybody knows me that know that, you know, I can fight. That's one thing that I do best. And, you know, I mean, Carlos Bordenay was a whole different bracket fighter. He's a great fighter himself. Take nothing from him. But, you know, at this fight, I was just mentally prepared for something different than I was for the New York fight.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Larry.
Jim?
All right, thank you very much, Larry. Let's go back to the melee for a second, Lennox Lewis, because I'm told that Zab Judah's promoter, Don King, has been loudly making the case in the ring that Mayweather should have been disqualified because Roger jumped into the ring. You heard the discussion between Harold Letterman and myself when we signed off on the notion that it was good judgment, not bad judgment, for him not to be disqualified. Do you see any merit in the argument that Mayweather should have been disqualified because of what Roger did?
You know what? As long as they got the fight back on and we were able to see a good fight once again, the last couple of rounds, they got it all sorted out, and that was the main thing.
I agree with you. In other words, it wouldn't have been good for the sport for this to end on the disqualification of a fighter who had just been hit on a low blow and hit in the back of the head, right?
Absolutely, absolutely, I agree.
All right, let's take another look just so we can once again get your expert opinion on all of this. Now, Roger Mayweather jumps into the ring, as you see there, wanting to get at Zab, and obviously it's his belief that Zab intentionally hit Mayweather on the cuff and also intentionally hit him on the back of the head. You and I agreed it would be impossible to tell whether the low blow was intentional, but you can see that you're hitting the guy on the back of the head, right?
Yeah, I mean, he punched him in the back of the head, but, you know, in the sport of boxing, you have to protect yourself at all times. Even if you get punched punched low, you still have to protect yourself because the other guy out there is throwing punches. He's trying to take you out.
Now, we heard Zab Judah complaining that Mayweather had been, quote, choking him in the corners. And incidentally, Floyd has done this throughout his career, where he takes his forearm and puts it against a fighter and pushes him back like that, often winding up with the hand under the throat. Is it illegal?
Yeah, it's illegal. It's illegal, but the ref has to warn you. You know, you can. I say to all the boxers, go out there and do it. And if the ref warns you and stops you, you have to stop at that point. But if the ref ain't saying nothing, you know, keep on doing it. But stay in the confounds of the rules.
Well, that's the way it all turned out. Larry Merchant now joins us back at ringside, and incidentally, thanks, Lennox. Great job tonight. Just terrific.
Thank you.
Larry, your final thoughts on what happened between Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Zab Judah?
One way or another, Floyd Mayweather was going to win this fight. It was the other. And I think it was self-explanatory. He's just too good a fighter for somebody who comes supposedly with as much speed as him to try to outspeed him. That's not the way anybody's going to get Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah. Well, what way they are going to get him remains to be seen. Didn't happen tonight. Hard to see somebody on the horizon who has the kinds of advantages that could translate into a victory yet over Pretty Boy Floyd. Let's take a look at the upcoming boxing calendar here at HBO. Very busy. April 22 from Mannheim, Germany, Chris Bird defends his portion of the heavyweight title against Vladimir Klitschko. Live on HBO at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, airing again at 10 p.m. Eastern and Pacific. Immediately after each showing of Bird Klitschko on the 22nd. Stay tuned for Countdown to De La Hoya Mayorga. It's a documentary-style behind-the-scenes look at the two men facing off next month. April 29, the 2006 debut of Boxing After Dark. First up, Acelino Freitas against Dahir Rahim in a lightweight fight. It's Rahim's first bout since his shocking upset of Eric Morales in September. And May 6th, live on HBO pay-per-view, Oscar De La Hoya versus Ricardo Mayorga. Oscar's first fight in a year and a half, and he chooses to take on the unpredictable and dangerous Nicaraguan power puncher, Mayorga. All right, Lennox, in the weeks since we were together in Atlantic City for James Toney against Hasim Rahman, the heavyweight division shuffles the deck once again, and Sergey Liakhovich gets a victory over Layman Brewster, which now puts yet another title belt in the hands of an Eastern European fighter. Where does Vladimir Klitschko stand in his journey as he gets ready to take on Chris Bird for a second time? He beat Bird in an easy decision 6 years ago.
I think it's going to be an interesting fight because, you know, since that fight, he's had 2 losses. And he's got a great trainer in his corner, Emmanuel Stewart. And I think he's got great boxing ability. He's the only boxer out there that really uses his footwork, and he's got a whole heap of different offenses that he can use. I think it's going to be an interesting fight. I think he wants to be the best heavyweight in the world, and this is one step closer. Emmanuel
Stewart says that what he did with you was, in essence, to get you to fight the way a big man should fight. Vladimir's 6 feet 7 inches tall. If Emmanuel can accomplish everything he wants to accomplish with Vladimir, and leaving aside the power of the right hand, he's never going to be able to punch like you. Is he going to wind up looking more and more like you in the ring?
I think he's a great boxer. He's going to show some great boxing talent out there. Whether he can neutralize Chris is one question, but we're going to have to see it on the fight.
All right. Chris Bird couldn't handle him 6 years ago, Larry Merchant. Got knocked down several times in the fight. It was an easy decision for Vladimir. What could be different this time?
Well, they've both changed. Klitschko has changed a little, something in his style, but also now he's perceived as seriously flawed and vulnerable, whereas at that time he looked like the next big thing. And meanwhile, Bird has gotten older, a little bit more flat-footed, more willing to exchange punches. My guess is that he thinks he can go out there and somehow trap Klitschko and land a punch with all 215 pounds behind it and hopefully end the fight. Who knows?
We shall see. That's in Mannheim, Germany, 2 weeks from now, April 22. The heavyweight division continues to try to move toward some reasonable definition. Chris Bird, still with a title belt in tow, taking on Vladimir Klitschko for the second time. Well, it was an interesting night. Very good fights. The favorites here were Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., Juan Diaz, Jorge Arce, and Floyd Mayweather Jr. All 4 favorites won. All of them at some moment or another facing some difficulty in the fight. All of them eventually rising to the fore with outstanding performances. At the end of the night, the star, once again, the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the sport. There's really no argument about that. Judah vs. Mayweather has been brought to you by Caesars Palace Las Vegas. Live famously. Wynn Las Vegas Resort and Country Club. By Corona Extra, miles away from ordinary. And by HBO Pay-Per-View, the best in pay-per-view entertainment, brought to you by HBO. We'd like to thank the following magazine and internet partners. So now for our entire crew, I'm Jim Lampley saying so long from Las Vegas, Nevada.